morning, good afternoon, good evening. Those of you on TikTok and YouTube platforms, I'm Mr. Clay, and this is Biblical Marriage Wednesday. Yes, we're in the book of Samuel. We're in the book of Samuel, and we're talking about David, Michal, and Abigail. Yes, it was a marriage. It's a marriage, even a polygynous marriage. But the fact was, these things were common. Even today, they're common, but just not where you're at. But either way, let's go to Samuel chapter 18 and verse 20. But we're going to go to a prelude. See, Saul gave another daughter unto David. Her name was Merab, and she was given to Adriel of Merath. See, that's in verse 19. Now, see, Saul changed his mind, and Saul's daughter Michal was in love with David, and Saul had word of it and was pleased. And Saul said, I will give her to him so that she may be a cause of danger to him, so that the hands of the Philistine may be against him. So Saul said to David, today you are to become my son-in-law for the second time. In other words, you didn't get my first one, but you're going to get this one. And Saul gave his servants orders, saying, have talk with David secretly, and say to him, see how the king has delighted in you, and how you are loved by all his servants. Then the king's son-in-law. And Saul's servant said these things to David, and David said, does it seem to you a small thing to be the king's son-in-law, seeing that I am a poor man of no great name? In other words, he came from the people of Jesse. But his grandfather was rich. But the fact was, David says, I don't have no money. So what? Your man ain't got no money. So what? If he's working, that's good. If you see some greatness in that man, you need to go after that man. Or that man is going to accept you for what kind of woman you are. Now let's see what kind of woman this woman that Saul gave David. Now, so David and his men got up and went in verse 27 and put to death 200 of the Philistines, and David took their private parts and gave the full number of them to the king so that he might be the king's son-in-law. That was his bride price. See, David at first did not have a bride price. Some of you Africans, y'all don't even understand that. Those of you in the African continent, the bride price has been you ought to realize who you are. It wasn't that African spirituality. It wasn't that stuff. No. That's something that came along with the heathen, and then everything started mixing, and then it's been a number of years, hundreds of years, and you think that spirituality they're telling you about was your spirituality. No. This was your spirituality, even the I am that I am, even Tata and Zambi. Yes. So David had his men got up and went and put to death these men. Now, that was for his bride price. He gave him their private parts, a full number of them, to the king so that he might be the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him his daughter, Michal, for his wife. Now, let's go over to Samuel 25. I believe that's 25. Yeah. 25. No. 19. Let's go to 19. This is so funny. Now, an evil spirit from the I am came on Saul. An evil spirit from the I am. Oh, God's wicked. You cannot judge God. He's our creator. He creates everything, every spirit. Now, it was evil. Came on Saul, and when he was seated in his house with his spear in his hand, and David made music for him, and Saul would have sent his spear through him, pinning him to the wall, but he got away, and the spear went into the wall that night. And David went in flight and got away. You know, the Most High put in David's spirit, you better get away from here quick. This man is evil. But in that night, Saul sent men to David's house to keep watch on him so as to put him to death in the morning. And David's wife, Michal, this same woman, yeah, she was one of them rich chicks, got fly chicks. But see, her daddy didn't know she was a ride or die chick too. All right, some of you can misjudge women. They can seem like they fly just trying to keep up with or just to keep people back from them. They can seem like they're evil and all that. But this woman was a ride or die, and said to him in verse 11, if you do not go away to a safe place tonight, you will be put to death in the morning. So Michal let David, her husband, down through the window, and he went in flight and got away. Then Michal took the image and put it in the bed with a cushion of goat's hair at his head, and she put his clothing over it. Now, and when Saul sent men to take David, she says he's ill. She's ill, that she lied. This is a ride or die chick. See, it's not that David was doing evil. She did for him doing good. See, this is what we're talking about. Some of you women and you men are, how you gonna, what if I do evil? No. You don't stand for nobody when they're doing evil. No. And when Saul sent the men to take David, she says he's ill. And then Saul sent his men to see David, saying, do not come back without him. So, let's go on 17. And Saul said to Michal, why have you been false to me, letting my hater go and get away safely? And in answer, Michal said to Saul, he said to me, let me go, or I will put you to death. Now see, this was a tricky woman. But yet she was a ride or die. She had to lie to her dad and say, hey, this is what he said to me. All right? Yeah. Some of you guys can use a woman like that, a good woman like that, who will stay faithful to you all the days of her life. Yes. Now let's go on to 1 Samuel 25. Don't judge that woman just because she might get around and you might think she kind of thuggish or whatever. Check her out. Watch her. If she love you, she love you, and she gonna be there for you till death do your part. Now, be good now. Now, verse 25. I mean, chapter 25. It's getting good. It's getting good. It was funny and it's really getting good. Now, let's go to verse 2. Verse 23. I'm sorry. Verse 2. It's been real good. Now, when 1 Samuel chapter 25 and verse 2, now there was a man in Mahon whose business in Carmel, he was a great man and had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was cutting wool for his sheep in Carmel. Verse 3, now this man was named Nabal, and his wife was named Abigail, and she was a woman of good sense and pleasing looks, but the man was cruel and evil in his ways, and he was of the family of Caleb. Now, you know who Caleb was. Caleb was a strong member of the children of Israel. Even you heard of Joshua and Caleb, or Caleb and Joshua, who went and was not afraid of what they had to face in taking of the land of Israel, or Kobe. Now, and David had word within the wasteland that Nabal was cutting wool of his sheep. And David sent 10 young men and said to them, go up to Carmel and go to Nabal and say kind words to him in my name. And say this to my brother, may all be well for you. Peace be to you and your house and all you have. And I have had a word that you have wool cutters, now keepers of your sheep, have been with us, and we have done them no evil, and taken nothing of theirs while they were in Carmel. Now, if your young men are questioned, they will say the same thing. So now let my young men have grace in your sight, for we are come at a good time. Please give anything you may have to your servants and your son. In other words, they were protecting his sheep shearers. They was protecting those who were tending to his sheep. Now, and when David's young men came, they said all this to Nabal in David's name and said nothing more. And Nabal gave them this answer and said, who is David? Who is this son of Jesse? There are a number of servants in these days running away from their masters. Now Nabal knew good and well who David was, for his fame went out through all the land, that all the Philistines that he had put to deletion. Okay? He said, am I to take my bread and wine, in verse 11, and meat that I got already for my wool and cutters, and give it to men coming from I have no idea where? Oh, this was an evil man. In other words, here they are, trouble is about to hit his people. David protects him. Now Nabal is acting arrogant because he's rich and he don't care. Now, let's skip to verse 14. But one of the young men said to Nabal's wife, after Nabal said all that, Abigail. Now you got to remember, Abigail was a woman of good sense. Abigail was one that knew her husband. Yes, she knew her husband, and he really trusted us, as you can well see. David sent men from the wasteland to say kind words to our master, and he gave them a rough answer. And he said, but these men have been very good to us. They did us no wrong, and nothing of ours was touched while we were with them in the field. But day and night, they were like a wall around us. They protected him. See, they protected him. And with them looking after the sheep. So now, give thought to what you are going to do. For evil is in store for our master, if all and all his house. For he is such a good-for-nothing person that it is not possible to say anything to him. Yes, woman, you might have a no-good husband. He's taking care of you. He's doing the best he can for you. He's successful in everything, but he's good for nothing. And you're saying, I'm ready to leave this man because I'm not happy. And that ain't the way God wants you to do that. He hadn't committed adultery on you. He hadn't beat you to death and steadily beating you and all that stuff and just taking things from you and treating you worse than a dog. And you stay right there. You have no grounds. Okay? Now, our master and all his house, for he is such a good-for-nothing person. Even the servants are saying this. This is a young man saying that. That is not possible to say anything to him. And Abigail quickly took 200 cakes of bread, 2 skins full of wine, 5 sheep ready for cooking, and 5 measures of dry grain, and 100 parcels of dry grapes, and 200 cakes of figs, and put them on asses or donkeys. Now, this woman had the sheep ready to cook, so those men can throw them on that wood and just start turning them in the field and have them some good old meat. Yes. And she said to her young men, go in front of me, and I will come after you. No, they wasn't her 3rd and 4th and 5th and 7th husbands or her men toys or whatever. They were men that were working for her husband, but yet she was a leader under her husband toward his servants, which were these young men. Now, it says that she was going down under cover of the mountain on her ass. David and his men came down against her, and suddenly she came face to face with them. Now, and when Abigail saw David, I've skipped down to verse 23. She quickly got off her ass, no, not that, her donkey, falling down on her face before him because she knew his greatness. She heard the things that David had did throughout the land, even more than what the king Saul had done. Now, falling at his feet, she said, may the wrong be on me, my king. That's what she would have said. On me, lest your servant said a word to you, and give ear to the words of your servant. Let my Lord give no attention to Nabal, that good for nothing, for as his name is, so is he, a man without sense. Now here's her, Abigail. She has sense. Now the husband that she married, or that took her to wife, he had no sense. But she had enough sense to say, I'm not going to be killed by David. I'm going to send this stuff regardless of what he say. Now, he trusted her, so he wasn't going to say much. But I, your servant, did not see the young men whom my Lord sent. So now, my Lord, by the living God and your living soul, seeing that the Lord hath kept you from the crime of blood and from taking into your hands the punishment for your wrongs, may all your haters and those who would do evil to my Lord be like Nabal. And let this offering which your servant gives to my Lord be given to the young men who are with my Lord. In other words, her king. Now, she was wise enough to say, I know that this man is great, and we know that God is with him. Yes, this man is great. Now, we're going to go down to verse 32. And David said to Abigail, may the I am, the God of Israel, be praised, who sent you to me today. Now, God put in Abigail's heart. See, David knew enough that God put in her heart to come and do the thing that she did that day. And it was astonishing to him. Oh, this woman is awesome. Not only she knew what to do and how to feed these men, this woman knew how to handle her husband or her master husband and also deal with me to the point where she calmed my spirit. Woo. Man, you better marry that woman if she ever be free. A blessing on your good sense. And see, even David said you got good sense. And on you who have kept me today from the crime of blood, from taking into my hands the punishment for my... In this world, a woman kept me from crime. She kept me from killing this man. How wise is she? How much good sense this woman got? You better listen. You listen to the way a woman talk, man. Listen to the way she talk. You have enough wisdom and enough foreknowledge in you to know when a woman talks a certain way, whether she's a good stock bad stock or just whorish stock. You know that. And the same thing with you, woman. Listen to the way the man talk. And make your choice wisely, even before the I am. Now, then David took from her hands her offering, and he said to her, go back to your house in peace. See that I have given ear to your voice, and take your offering with respect. Yes, he said, I take what you got with respect because you are a woman of good sense. And I know God dealt with your heart to do these things. And Abigail went back to Nabal, and he was feasting in his house like a king. And Nabal's heart was full of joy, for he had taken much wine. So she said nothing to him till dawn came. No, she know how crazy this man was, but that was her husband. She had to respect him. She had to honor him. And she did these things before the Most High. And in the morning, when the effect of the wine was gone, Nabal's wife gave him an account of all the things, and all the heart went out of him, and he became like stone. And about 10 days after, the I am sent disease on Nabal, and death came to him. And David the king, hearing that Nabal was dead, said, may the I am be praised, who has taken my cause against Nabal, for the shame he put on me, and has kept back his servant from evil, and that has set Nabal's head the reward of his evil doing. And David sent word to Abigail, designed to take her to wife. Yay! David knew he had a good one there. I wouldn't have passed her up. No, not a wise and good sense woman like that. For even in David's foolishness, this woman was a queen. Even in her husband, that foolishness, she was a queen indeed. Michal was the ride or die. This one here was the wise and good sense woman that honored her husband even when she didn't want to. She didn't go a whoring after David and tell him to do this and do that. She didn't even desire David at that point because she was married to this guy. She was given to him. Or I don't think she chose him, but I could be wrong. But the fact is that David saw the goodness in this woman. And young man, see the goodness in the woman you're about to choose. See her good sense. See her wisdom. See how she deals with things. See if she ride or dies with you. See if she will protect you in the good that you do. Or either vouch for you in the good that you do. She might not can protect you, but she can do some great things in your name. Yes. Even keep your riches and your gold and all these other things. Not dig for them, but keep them because she see you as what? Family. And with that, I'm going to say peace.